All glories to Mother Ritasha. All glories to the religion of love. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to our Supreme Lord. O Lord God, please help us live out these teachings, be an example of love in the world. Jai. All right. We're continuing on the last few pages of the self-titled The Religion of Love book. And the man who brought the news turned his back to us and left. But a retired soldier, a veteran of many wars, came instead and said, I too have seen the waste of war, and long ago I left the battlefield in search of peace. But in the religion of love is a holy war worth fighting for. Only tell to us if you can, he said, what is at the root of all the evil in the world? What happened? Is it? Mic check, mic check. Can you guys hear?
Nah, you sound like a robot.
Oh. Might be my internet. I apologize.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, it's okay now? Oh. I think my Discord just disconnected and reconnected. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. Only tell to us if you can, he said, what is at the root of all the evil in the world, that knowing we might pluck it out. Ignorance is the enemy you seek, I said. And a certain man said, speak more of this. And yes, said another, that in this time your words might be as a light to us, and to all who can hear. For the night is drawing in, and the world grows dark. And I in answer said, fear not, for God is with us all, and darkness cannot stand before the light. And as they asked, so did I answer, telling of a time on the eastern plain, after the rains, when it was beginning to be cold, and she had sat, wrapped in her shawl, against the night's chill with some few disciples, and taught us with a tale of 4 men who were given a gold coin. The first man, she said, was a Greek, who said, with this coin we should buy staffel. But the second man, who was a Persian, said, no, I want angur. The third was a Turk, and he said, I do not want angur, I want uzum. And the fourth, an Arab, insisted they buy inab. And so they began to fight, for in their ignorance they did not know that each, in his own language, had wanted the very same thing: grapes. False leaders, she said to us, teach that it is your differences that make you enemies. But it is not your differences that are the enemy, but ignorance. Do not become the enemy of your enemy, she warned. It is not necessary to kill a man, only to kill the ignorance in man. The sufferings of man will only be solved by a spiritual revolution. For nothing will change until the heart of man is changed. And it was on the final day that, sitting together in the shade of a mango grove to take our midday meal, the one who was honored by all as being wise stood that he might be seen, and said, it is not by accident, but by the grace of God that we, searching for truth, have met, and the angels with us. We have come, making a holy pilgrimage, crossing continents and braving the black waters. For some, the teachings of the religion of love have been a revelation, and for some, a confirmation. And now, in the leaving, I ask of you only this, that what you have heard in your heart, and so know to be true, that you share it, that love may grow. And on this our final day together, a youth, barely 15, asks of me one last question. We have traveled in search of truth, spoken much of truth. But what, he asks, does she say is the truth? And I in answer said, the truth, she says, is love. So I, Rajak Khan, have written of what I have heard, and of what I have seen, and you, in the reading of this, have heard, and seen, and been present, as I have been, that you also, by the grace of God, might know, and in knowing what in your heart to be true, may share it, so that the many may now know what we few now know. Jai. All glories. All right, let's hear a little commentary. So the retired soldier comes, says, I too have seen the waste of war, and long ago I left the battlefield in search of peace. But in the religion of love is a holy war worth fighting for. We may not feel fulfilled in life if we have no cause or great purpose in which we live for, in which we want to give our life for, to fight for. Otherwise, life would be meaningless. And we fought many great wars throughout history, for nation, for country, and unfortunately, falsely in God's name, in the name of religion. But they've only brought great waste and destruction, not peace, even though that's what the politicians, the leaders promise will be the outcome of such wars. But he says here, in the religion of love is a holy war worth fighting for. And it's not a war outside of your own self. The holy war is one you wage within your own self, of the ignorance in your own mind, versus the light of God's pure message of love. And we, like warriors, fight to be free from suffering, fight to be free from illusion, fight that we may give up all things not of love and be again with God in love now and forever. And we must fight for this. In the Bhagavad Gita, which takes place on a battlefield, God doesn't tell Arjuna and all of us to kill, but to fight. And we need to fight for ourselves. We need to protect ourselves. Protect ourselves from all the influences, all the distractions, all the thoughts in our head which keep us from realizing our true selves, from walking the path made straight, from becoming again the beloved lover, the devotee of God. And this man says, all right, so now that I've taken up this cause, this war, point me in the direction of my enemy. What is the root of all the evil in the world? There's a famous quote that the root of all evil is money. But it's actually a misquote. Jesus said, it's the love of money. So it's not a thing that is the source of our ignorance. It's a way of thinking, a propensity, a consciousness, rather, the polluted state of our consciousness. That is where ignorance resides, and it's in the mind. There is no devil. It's all in our own head, our own past things. And a certain man said, "Speak more of this." And yes, said another, that in this time your words might be as a light to us and to all who can hear. For the night is drawing in, and the world grows dark. Sorry, 1 second. I have to pause. I'll be right back. Apologies. There's a dog we're watching that was in anxiety and whining a lot. Hopefully he'll be quiet. Shh. No. I can't play fetch. Shh. Go. Go. He brought his ball to me. Okay. All right, where were we? That your words may be as a light to us. Light always overcomes darkness. And as we've discussed before, the light in Scripture means the pure spiritual knowledge. The message of God is a light. And the darkness is our own ignorance or our forgetfulness of God's message. And it is the devotee's great fight, not only to live the message, but despite many obstacles, many hardships, many sacrifices they endure, they try to give this message to others, try to share it with others, so that others can see and not stumble in the darkness, not suffer endlessly in this world in the cycle of birth and death, but may free themselves and be again in love and with God and return home. But many hear from a devotee and reject it. But the seed is planted and works on the ignorance within. Don't worry if people first reject. The truth will eventually overcome. And we are meant to be lights in the darkness. Now there is a great hunger in the world for the sacred. The people want to see this lived out. Be the light. And they asked of us, so did I answer, telling of a time. All right, and the master tells this story of 4 men given a gold coin. And each of the 4 men is from a different nation, speaking a different language. And they're all squabbling, fighting with one another over what they're going to buy with this one gold coin that they are sharing collectively. And they're all saying a different thing, and now they're fighting each other because they all want to get what they want. They don't care what the other wants. They're very selfish or self-centered and arguing in ignorance, not realizing that the thing they all want is the same, just in a different language. They all wanted grapes. So they began to fight in their ignorance, not knowing that each in his own language had wanted the same thing. False leaders teach it is your differences that make you enemy, but it's not your differences that are the enemy, but ignorance. What is the common goal that we all share? everyone, every corner of this globe, we all want happiness. We all want to be happy. That's what we're all after, really. What do we do? Anything in this world is to seek pleasure, to enjoy, and to avoid distress, to avoid suffering. That's our endeavor. Unfortunately, while we are in ignorance, in illusion, under the false bodily concept of life, thinking that I am the body and the mind, this is me, forgetful that we are spirit soul within the body. In the bodily concept, we look at everything outside ourselves to be the sources of our happiness or our suffering, neglecting our own consciousness, forgetful that it is how we think that determines how we feel. That true peace, true happiness is not outside but inside. It's within. But in illusion, we look outside ourselves for fulfillment, for love everlasting, but find it not. We get some pleasure, but it's limited and temporary and just binds us to more suffering. And we look at others and blame them for our unhappiness, blame them for our sorrows, and false leaders, these real misleaders in society, point out these outward differences as cause of our misfortune, the reasons for our distress. It's like a scapegoat, basically, pointing the finger outside, never looking within. And what are these differences? Now, there's the gross bodily differences, which we all are familiar with. Differences of gender, nationality, ethnicity, color, pigment of the skin. And then there's more subtle differences like ideology, political preferences, religious dispositions, etc. All of these things that we label ourselves, gross or subtle, and label others with, and if they don't align, we see these differences and count those as our enemies. They're different than me. I mean, look at these nations that are fighting right now, or fighting within themselves. Neighbor against neighbor because of what? Different religion, different nationality, different ideology, right? Different skin color. This is what people are fighting over. It's gross ignorance. Differences are not our enemies. Just because we look different, sound different, think different, this is not the cause for us to have great enmity with one another. As we see, there are places of great diversity which may not be in great turmoil. Differences are not seen as causes of division. So the real culprit here is ignorance, the clouding of our consciousness. That's the real enemy here. Ignorance. That is our great focal point on our struggle in life. If we wish to be free from suffering, we need to focus on purifying ourselves of our own ignorance. That's what's causing all our problems, really. So do not become the enemy of your enemy. Devotees do not see anyone as an enemy. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, it says a sage A wise sage sees with equal vision a man, a dog, an elephant, a dog-eater, all the same. The reason is because they see within each body the spirit soul, the beloved lover, the servant of God, not acting or treating one another on the false bodily plane, the temporary material designations, but as who we really are. And because someone falsely sees you as an enemy, their mind is in ignorance, they may lash out at you, they may speak harsh words, they may physically harm you or try to. We don't have to react to how they are acting. In fact, that's part of the great test, isn't it? When we are with people in relationships, that's where stuff comes up in our life. If we're alone, nothing will come up. So when these things come up, other people testing us, trying us, causing us distress, we think it's the other person making us feel this. But it's our own junk coming up so that it can be cleared. In a sense, these people are like teachers for us. Not that they are telling us things, like they're giving us direct lessons, for example, but they can show us what's inside ourselves. I'd like to share a nice story Mother Atasha taught us. It's about a woman who moved in with her husband's family, but she hated her mother-in-law, so much so that she wanted to kill her. So the woman went to an expert in poison, and this poison dealer says to the woman, "Put a few drops of this clear, colorless, tasteless poison in her food every day, and she'll slowly sicken and die. But the woman must be really nice and sweet and do whatever the mother wants, so no one will suspect her, but think she loves her." So the woman does all that. But in time, she actually got along very well and grew to really like her mother-in-law, even loved her. So she ran back to the man for the antidote. And the man said, "It wasn't poison I gave you. It was just water. The only poison was in your mind." It is not necessary to kill a man, only to kill the ignorance in man. The spirit soul cannot be killed, cannot be cut, cannot be moistened, cannot be burned. Oh, I think my wife has returned. I hope. Unless somebody just broke in. The dog seems calm, so I guess it was her. The spirit soul... Oh, did I lose connection? Can you guys still hear me? I heard something going on. Hello, hello. Mic check. Meet Yeti, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. What was I saying? Oh, so the soul isn't touched by the material in a sense. It's covered over by it, but you can't actually hurt the spirit's soul in this world. What you do is you can hurt the body and the mind, sure, but not the soul. And even if the body dies, the soul continues on, as it has done for since time immemorial. Just leave it. It's too late now. Oh, no. So, we may have all these so-called enemies in this world, and we may think the world would be a better place if we got rid of them all, right? Everyone's better off, these bad people better off dead, right? And surely, materially speaking, there would be less distress, less unnecessary suffering caused by others in this world, if they were to die and be out of this world for the time being. Sure. But the spirit soul is just going to inhabit another form after that. It doesn't actually solve anything in the long run. They'll be born again, eventually in a human form, and pick up where they left off in that same degraded consciousness, furthering the same cycle of ignorance, the same propensities which cause great suffering to themselves and others. If you really want to change things, you really want ultimate good to come about for everyone, and love your so-called enemies, as it says in the scriptures, we are to love our enemies, then we need not kill them, but kill the ignorance within them. Starting, of course, with our own ignorance. The real sufferings of man will only be solved by a spiritual revolution. Nothing will change until the heart of man is changed. Real revolution. A spiritual revolution which will inundate the world with love. And this real revolution is to keep integrity, live the truth, not to react to all the evil things in this world. Revolution is evolution, but it's coming back again to the beginning. It's not new, but revolved back again, revolutionized. We're coming back to our heart, back to who we are, back to our original spiritual state of being, which is, and this is the closest word we have to explain it, is love. Our nature is not in blood and in our genes, but is spiritual. The devotee comes into the world knowing what's not true. It's not a revelation for the devotee, but a confirmation for him. As it says here, for some, the teachings of the religion of love have been a revelation. Eye-opening, wow. And for some, a confirmation, just confirming what we already knew deep within, but perhaps did not have words to express it. I think, almost out of time, but let me wrap it up. This one man says he's counted as wise. It's not by accident, but by the grace of God that we, searching for truth, have met. Right? There's no such thing as coincidence. These people who were seeking knowledge, who were seeking God, seeking to be purified, who wanted love, it is not by accident that they end up meeting with the spiritual master, to be blessed with devotee association. By God's grace, ultimately, and of course by our own desires, we decide our destinies, and God makes a meeting with ones who can impart real knowledge, realized knowledge of the message of God. And he says, and the angels with us. We may not see them, but celestial beings are possibly here right now while we're together sharing the message of God. For when we glorify God, what better moment, what better occasion would any celestial beings wish to stop in and check out, right? So, and he says here, I ask of you what you've heard in your heart and so know to be true, that you share it, that love may grow. And this is repeated again at the end. Rajak says, knowing what's in your heart to be true, share it so that the many may know what we few now know. This is love. Don't keep it for yourself. You want to share it. This is love. Freeing ourselves and freeing others. With great urgency does God's messengers, God's representatives, try to share this message, share pure knowledge out into the world to as many who can hear, to help as many drowning souls as you can. We're all drowning in this ocean of material sorrows. And now that you've heard this message, now that you've started to incorporate it into your life, your spiritual life, you've now boarded a boat with the spiritual master, God's messengers, as the helmsman. And God's holy word is the favorable breeze into the sails. And you stay in this boat of spiritual life. You will cross over the oceans of material sorrows to the kingdom of God. But so many people are struggling in the water, not in the boat of spiritual life. So we do the best we can, throwing the life raft, throwing the life buoys in the form of God's message, sharing this truth, this love, so that they too may board the boat of spiritual life in their hearts. And this young man, we traveled in search of truth, spoken much of truth, but what does she say is the truth? It's love. Love of God. Okay, I've gone well over. Oh, one last thing. Mother Tosh said, the word of God will take you to the truth. And truth is knowing the difference between reality and illusion for the benefit of all. Okay, Jai. Oh, let me pause this here. Okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments? And apologies again for going a little over in the disruption earlier. And my foot is asleep. Oof. Whole leg is asleep, actually. Glad you safely arrived, love.
Yeah, I drove fast.
You drove fast? Well, I appreciate that, but also it's concerning. Oh, you were logged in, so you heard everything on the way here?
Yes.
While driving? Look at that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I know.
Any questions you have, perchance? Good. How about you, brother? Yeti? Anything on your mind, or you're good?
Nah, I'm pretty good, man.
Oh, I'm happy.
Razak's pretty smart.
Mm-hmm. He is. In fact, the most intelligent persons are the ones who take to spiritual life, are the ones who take to this message and try to live it. That is a sign of great intelligence. I know there's book smarts, street smarts, all sorts of different smarts in this world, but when it comes down to the real purpose of life, this is the only intelligence that really matters. Being wise enough to recognize the importance of knowledge of the absolute truth. And then, of course, by the grace of God, somehow or other ending up in the company and the association of devotees to hear such knowledge, and then making the choice with our desires to come again to God, to practice that knowledge. This is the highest form of intelligence. The only thing that really counts. We can have all the degrees in the world, read all the books in the world, be counted as a great scholar, really wise person. But if you don't come to love of God, we don't actually fulfill life's real purpose, then we're no better than educated fools. It's the truth. Because we're just going to be perpetuating our own existence in this material world, subjecting ourselves to repeated birth, death, old age, and disease, again and again and again. Doing the same thing over and over again, chewing the chewed in the form of temporary happiness. Never satisfied, never fulfilled, never finding love everlasting. It's not very wise to build your castle in the sky, or as say the expression in the East, you're building a house in the sky. There's no foundation. It's just illusory. It's poof. Or more practical, you could say, building your foundation on the sand. It's not very safe. It's going to crumble and fall eventually. No return on investment in the material world. Everything's going to be lost eventually. In one sense, the only thing returned to us for our fruitive work in this world, all our worldly endeavors, is short-lived happiness and repeated suffering. Happiness and distress, happiness and distress. It's not very wise. It's not very intelligent. And the process of spiritual life, devotional life, is actually quite joyful. We're not giving up our day jobs. We're not retiring to the forest to live like a hermit. You can quit your day job. You can retire to the forest if you want to. There's a lot of precedents for that of holy people, but no. Real spiritual life isn't taking things away. It's more like adding one thing to your life. Adding God to your life. Adding devotion to God. Making God the reason for everything you do. God being the one in whom all the results of your work are for. God being your goal in life. God being your direction, everything. You're just adding God to it. You don't have to quit your day job, but you can offer the results of your work unto God. You don't have to retire to the forest. You can be anywhere you are and hear, chant, remember, engage in spiritual practices. You don't have to give up eating food, but you can offer nice, sumptuous, cruelty-free vegetarian foods unto the Lord, and then take those remnants which purify our hearts. You don't have to give up listening to music. You can dance and chant to wonderful music, chanting names of God. Oh, there's nothing that we miss in spiritual life. There's even a lot of good movies. Well, I take that back, not a lot. There's a few handfuls of good movies if you like cinema. So, what are we missing? I mean, it's just dovetailing your life in devotion. Like, let's say, even exercise or playing sports. You know, like when I go play sports or play with neighborhood kids, little street hockey or kick a ball, a little soccer or something. Yeah, I'm, having fun. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun, obviously. But also what I'm thinking in my mind, well, I'm doing this activity so that I can keep this body fit and healthy so that it can render nice service to the Lord. That's my thinking. I'm not working for money right now, but when I did work for money, I would always pray to the Lord before I would engage in such work and say, oh Lord, help me do a great job, and the money that I get from today's work, guide me that it can be used in your service. So it's just adding something to your life, and it grows and grows and grows. Your dovetailed consciousness in devotional service, everything being centered around God and loving God. There is no higher aim, no higher goal that one can achieve than love of God. And it's not something you can put on your wall like a certificate. It's not a title you can add to your resume. It's not like a thing. It's a being. It's who you are. It's a state of being. Oof. A state of love of God. Oh my goodness. That is ecstatic bliss everlasting. Oh my goodness. You talk about happiness and distress in this material. Well, none of that even touches you. Not even material happiness doesn't faze you in a state of love. Oh, you're in ecstasy, transcendental spiritual bliss. Ooh, it's beyond the material. You can be in this body, in this world, and be completely in love and with God in His loving service. Nothing is like it. To be like a fish back in the water, awakened from the dream of material life, which is quite a nightmare. So Rajak is a very intelligent man. He recognized what this life was for and struggled very hard to come again to truth, to love, and was very wise in surrendering unto the Lord's representative, becoming a servant of the servant of God. Oh, very, very wise. So, thanks for spurring me on, filling some more time here, brother. We did not unnecessarily go on longer if everyone good. Y'all good, love? Yeti, you're good? Shall we wrap it up, or anything else you guys want to share? If not, then I hope... Oh,
I'm fine, bro.
okay, then I hope
I
that...
appreciate it.
And I appreciate you, brother. I love your company. And the Lord would definitely appreciate it if you try to share the love, first in your heart and then with others. Share it so that it may grow. In fact, it says that the Lord loves best those who tell others about Him. He's very pleased with that. And we will make rapid progress in our own spiritual life, a lot of advancement towards the ultimate goal, towards enlightenment, if while we're trying to practice it, we try to share it. And Mother Atasha, she had us disciples distribute books. Little tiny pocket-sized books. It wasn't the big books we have now, which is right behind me here. No, small books. My wife's got one right now. Here you go. Here's an example of one. This is Little Book Desire. You just fit in your pocket. And we would sell these, distributing them on the streets in the hundreds and the thousands. Not for profit. We weren't trying to make money. No. In fact, most cases we sold them at a loss. We preached them sold them for less than what they actually cost to print. Not a very smart business model. But that wasn't the point. The point was that it instilled value in others. So we offer it to thousands of people, and whoever takes the book gives a few coins, we hope that they would read it. And it counts as sharing the message. Even if you're not explaining things, it's not the idea of, standing at a pulpit or atop a tree stump and blah, 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 barking things at other people, That's more like screeching than preaching. And you don't have to, engage in conversations like we're doing now to share the message. I mean, even just giving someone a book. Sharing a book, or even sharing a PDF. QR code so they can download the PDF. This is also a way to share it. And it will help love grow, not just for their life, but for you. And Mother Tasha said, preaching to us just means sharing the message, which for us is mostly in book form, is more for the preacher than it is for the one receiving the books. Because it's purifying you. And, well, I'm still here, I'm still practicing, and my spiritual life's getting better and better, and perhaps because not only, obviously, the mercy of my spiritual master and my desire to learn and to be with God, but I preach thousands of books. Oh my God, thousands all over the world, in different countries, different languages. So God must have, been very merciful unto this great fool that I am. And I'm still here. And I'm experiencing his love little by little, more and more in my life, and it's wonderful. So I hope everyone who's hearing this recording, even though few of us gathered in live, I hope everyone hearing this, please, I beg you, share this message, share these teachings, share love with others. Share this, and this would be heaven on earth if we all could hear and practice and live this truth and come again to love and help one another. Not like the 4 men with the coin, being total jerks to one another, but helping one another for our common goal, to be happy, to be in love, but real happiness, real love, not what the world tries to sell us. No, help one another come again to love. Okay, Jai. All glories to Mother Natasha, all glories to religion of love, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to our Supreme Lord. Jai.